So my first question is on behalf of Cambridgeshire Sustainable Travel Alliance. We're in alliance with 31 member organisations active in the areas of transport, environment and health. Cambridgeshire Sustainable Travel Alliance is deeply disappointed that the GCP is recommending setting aside the road reclassification project, substantially reducing the money spent on city access projects, and reorienting city access away from the large-scale transformation of transport infrastructure the City Deal was established to bring about. Changing the way Cambridge's roads are classified could have transformed the city for the better. It could have allowed buses to run on time. Over half of bus users we interviewed in Cambridge thought non-park and ride services were late or unreliable. It could have made walking, wheeling and cycling much easier, safer and more pleasant. It could have given us cleaner air to breathe, and it could have made the city a much more attractive place. If the road reclassification project is cancelled, as well as the Sustainable Travel Zone road charge, and there are no plans by the GCP or others to pursue a workplace parking levy or other transformative options, in 2030, the year in which Cambridge City aims to reach net zero, Cambridge will still largely be encumbered with its 1980s road system designed to prioritise motorised transport over sustainable travel. In contrast, many other UK cities are planning or have taken bold steps to transform transport. Edinburgh will further restrict traffic through its city centre. Oxford is going ahead with traffic filters and low traffic neighbourhoods. Bristol has a clean air zone. Central London has an effective congestion charge and recently extended the ULEZ to all Greater London boroughs. And Nottingham has a workplace parking levy. Page 103 of the agenda pack references the GCP objective to reduce traffic by 15% compared to the 2011 baseline. To what extent does the GCP think it will meet this objective with neither a transformational transport plan, like a road charge, nor a reclassification of Cambridge's roads?
Political indecision continues to stifle Cambridge, affecting businesses, residents, health and the environment. 18 months after the consultation on the road hierarchy, this paper does nothing more but to reflect the statistical facts of the consultation response and passes off responsibility to the Greater Cambridge Transport Strategy at an unknown date in the future. Many will speculate this procrastination reflects an inability to reduce congestion, and downgrading roads is indeed more difficult without first reducing traffic. However, it is definitely not impossible. And, as proposed, the road hierarchy was never intended to be a scheme that was to be implemented all at once. Our 18-page response, which I have copies of and I would suggest you all read, compiled with the help of our 1,700 members, questioned the car-centric approach of the hierarchy, starkly highlighted by the fundamental misunderstanding of the word road, when in fact what was being discussed was streets. We set out a user approach and looked at the continent for inspiration. We drew attention to how other cities manage circulation, taking specific inspiration from those that do so without a road charging scheme. One of the best examples of this in a small city is Ghent in Belgium, which controls vehicle movements of its 300,000 residents through a circulation plan. Introduced in 2017, it was delivered in under 3 years for less than €5 million. Results have included a 60% increase in cycling, a 55% increase in public transport use, 35% reduction in road collisions, and a 15% increase in greenery, replacing previously paved areas. 71% of inner city residents say that it's a more pleasant place to now live. Whilst it's important to have a quick wins package, it could be described as a band-aid on a bullet wound. We've always needed a bigger scheme. Why doesn't the GCP believe that such a scheme could be delivered as part of the City Access Programme?
In terms of Sarah Hughes's and actually Josh Grantham's question, a lot of it is sort of over, there's a link between the two. The paper doesn't propose pausing the road hierarchy review. What it says is, we've had a consultation. There needs to be rightly reflection of what it says, but we also need to be cognizant of other developments that have occurred since that time. One clearly is the Making Connections decision, but in particular, as outlined in the paper, and I'll touch on later on, is the County Council's decision that it will update the transport strategy for Cambridge and South Cambridgeshire, because much like the local plan that we rely on that strategy. So in terms of the 15% target reduction, we're not proposing to get rid of that. Indeed, the combined authority has a general one across that area. And so the issue around road network hierarchy and managing the congested environment in Cambridge will clearly need to be considered as part of that transport strategy development that will take place. And so the question about what happens by 2030 will need to be considered in that context. We were always going to pass the road network hierarchy onto the County Council. They are the Highways Authority. So that link exists very clear now in terms of the development of the transport strategy going forward.